Hello everyone, how's it going, and welcome back to today's Wild Rift video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at Caitly. Now, I haven't done a lot of Caitly videos on this channel, haven't really played her too much, but in my opinion, she's still one of the best late game, or one of the best solo queue champions to play, because she's very safe, she has a long attack range, and all her abilities as well allow her to stay back and stay safe. So it's really nice to try and pick her up if you haven't already. Now, looking at Caitlin's build, you'll see that there's no SOLO Charge Blade as well. This because with Caitly, you don't really spam abilities a lot like Xayah, like Lucian, like Vayne. And you mainly want to try and go for 100% crit chance. So every single auto attack that you do, even if you don't use an ability, will always crit. Now, obviously, first item, Infinity Edge, still a really, really strong item. Gives you a lot of AD, crit chance, and also allows your critical strikes to deal 230% damage instead of 200%, which is really nice. You have Static Shiv as well. Obviously, you got the electric for the extra movement speed. You have the energized stacks as well, which moving and attacking will generate energized attacks. And at maximum energized attacks, you get the Shiv Lightning, so you can spread the damage, which is always very helpful with Caitly, because you will be auto-attacking from range. You'll be auto-attacking a lot during team fights. So you want to get as much attack speed and as much crit rate as possible. Now, you can go for like BF Sword into Static Shiv and then build Infinity Edge after that. But I feel like with Caitly, because you're going to be playing safe anyway, you'll be auto-attacking a lot in the early game. So going for Infinity Edge as a first item, in my opinion, is the best bet. Boots, you got Gluttonous Greaves. You can go for other options as well, like defensive boots if you need them. I feel like Gluttonous Greaves is pretty good because obviously you're not building Bloodthirster until the last item. So it's going to be quite difficult early on to try and, you know, get that little bit of physical vamp. Obviously you get a little bit for Hunter Titan, but most of the time you don't really get a lot of physical vamp. So it's nice to get an extra bit of physical vamp. And in terms of boost upgrades, Protobelt's really good to have another dash for Caitly. You can either dash away from champions or towards them. Stasis is really good against assassins. Or you got things like Quicksilver as well, but most of the time you don't really build that, which is all well and good. Next item, Rapid Fire Cannon, another energized item. Now, obviously, if you don't know, these energized items now stack. So the bonus damage, the 50 to 120, they now stack on top of each other. Before, it would only proc one of them, and that's it. But now they stack on top of each other, so it actually works really, really well. The only item I wouldn't really build is Storm Razor, because the item is just complete garbage, unfortunately. But Rapid Fire Cannon, more crit, more attack speed, more movement speed, which works really, really well with Caitly. And with this, the Sharpshooter, obviously the energized attacks as well, generate 25% faster, which is really, really nice. You gain an extra attack range, and also you get the bonus magic damage as well. But the main important thing is the extra attack range. Now, Caitly already has crazy attack range, so adding extra attack range on top of that as well, you can auto-attack from really, really far away, and it's quite obnoxious to try and deal with, to be honest. And what makes Caitly so annoying is that she can auto-attack from range and do a lot of damage. On to the next item, Mortal Reminder. At this point of the game, obviously there's going to be enemies that are going to be building a lot of armor, because you're going to be dealing a lot of damage. So making sure you at least have one armor penetration item is really, really important. Serrated Grudge doesn't really do anything for Caitly. Damage and active abilities and power attacks slow enemies. You don't really do that much often. You have traps which stun everywhere anyway. You have a net which is mainly used for escaping. You have an ultimate which is mainly used for execute. So the only real ability that Grudge would really work on is your first ability, but most of the time you don't really need it anyway. So Mortal Reminder is just a better option. Obviously you apply Grievous Wounds as well, which is really, really nice. And yeah, overall just a great item. And then for last item, Bloodthirster, this will give you a 100% crit chance. You can go for another defensive item like Guardian Angel if you want to, or Wit's End maybe if you want to as well. But in my opinion, you don't really need a defensive item for Caitly, because you should be playing back. You should be playing passive, and you should be using your traps to your advantage as well. So with that in mind, Bloodthirster gives you more attack damage and more crit rate. So when you do finish Bloodthirster, you will get 100% crit rate. That means every single auto attack will be doing a crazy amount of damage, and it's actually crazy how much damage you can do in a late game with Caitly. Now, obviously, you get the extra physical vamp as well from Bloodthirster, which is really nice. The physical vamp also overheals you as well when you're maximum health, giving you a shield, which also works well with assassins. And yeah, overall, that is the build. As mentioned, no SOLO Charge Blade. You just want to build as much crit as possible. Try and go for the 100% crit chance if you can. You can swap the Bloodthirster and the Mortal Reminder around if you want to try and get 100% crit chance before that. I wouldn't really recommend it, because, like I said, at that point of the game, most of the time, enemies will be building armor. If they don't, then you can maybe go for Bloodthirster as a fourth item. But again, that's completely up to you. Looking at the runes, nothing really changed for runes. You know, it's all the same with all the AD carries. Conquest still the best rune. I really hope they add more runes that really help Caitlyn and other champions like Lethal Tempo, Press the Attack. Hopefully they add them in 2022, but we'll have to wait and find out about that one. Hunter Vampirism gives you the extra physical vamp early on. It gives you extra AD and physical vamp per unique takedown. And the same with Hunter Titan. Maximum health than every unique takedown. Grants you maximum health and tenacity. Then you also have Sweet Tooth as well, which helps you a lot, especially in lane phase. Excuse me, in the lane phase, because with Caitlyn, you'll be trading a lot, you will be poking enemies out a lot, so sometimes you might take a little bit of damage, but most of the time in the early game, you do win out on the trades because your auto attack range is above anyone else in the game, so it's quite nice. And then for spells, you have Flash and Barrier. You can use Heal if you want to as well, depending on what your support takes. But that's pretty much everything with Caitlyn. As mentioned, you know, she's one of the best solo queue AD carries to play. She can play very passive. She can self-pill for herself as well. Kind of similar to Lucian, but he doesn't need to, Caitlyn doesn't need to dash in and dash forward. She can just stay as far back as possible and auto-attack and use her abilities. Like I said, overall one of the best champions to play. So make sure you add her to your champion pool. Make sure you enjoy the gameplay as well. Sit back, relax, enjoy, and I'll see you all very soon. Peace.